Welcome in. I'm going to give about 30 seconds as I usually do for people to get in. So grab your notes, grab whatever you're going to need to type on or take note of, especially today's lesson, because we're going to be getting into some pretty interesting information about the markets, about Altura as a whole. And it's not just useful in our project, it's useful in the outside world as well. So having this information is going to be critical to your understanding of the broader trends in the market. So anything you guys can use to write down notes, to be here and be present, try to get it ready to go here, and we'll be started in just a second. You ready? Okay. Here we go. Welcome to the Ascended Podcast. My name is Caleb Schulke, and this is episode 21, Ethereum's dip and Altura's rise. Tonight, we're talking about crypto as a whole. Ethereum just dropped below $4,000. That's a critical mark for the crypto. Dogecoin fell from 28 cents to 22 cents. Everyone is panicking in the short-term sense. But let me tell you why this is the greatest opportunity that you'll see all year, not just for traders, but for the builders, the believers, and the visionaries who are ready to secure their spot in something bigger. And that is Altura. If you guys aren't familiar, the link is going to be attached to this live stream. It's in my bio, and I would encourage you to check it out when you get a minute. Why is this happening? That was a question that went through my mind as I was planning Altura, as I was expecting, this to come at some point. And I had to find not just the cause of the reason that this was crashing, that the prices were coming down, but also why it sets us up in the long term. Because this is all part of something bigger. If you guys think it's just a temporary market movement, you're wrong. This is something different. You see, when the market bleeds, in any sense, especially the crypto market, which is still, in my opinion, in its baby stage, its infant stage. This is like the stock market in 2028, right? There was a ton of volatility. There may be a crash, right, coming in 1930, right? In this case, we don't know. It could be amazing. It could be terrible. But for right now, we're in a stage of insane volatility. And when the market bleeds a little bit, when it pulls back, you have two choices. Anytime you're faced with a situation in life, you either panic, you fly, or you build, you fight, right? Fight or flight. And right now, Altura is offering you the chance to build when many of you are unsure of what to do. And that is the point I will, as I do every podcast, prove to you on tonight's podcast. I want to take a step back. So why did Ethereum dip? Why did we see an 8% decrease in the price in one day, which is dramatic, even for crypto? Markets run in cycles. They always do. Many of us know this, right? The past few months, we've seen massive pullbacks on the S&P. And just after this Fed announcement, we saw kind of the hype die off, but the last month or so has been decent recovery because of that. Every bull run, though, has its pullbacks, especially the ones that go hard. And those pullbacks are where millionaires are made, right? A lot of times, as Warren Buffett would say, you're not trying to buy the high. You're not buying what everyone else is buying. You're buying the dips because you look at value and you buy at a discount. In 2017, Ethereum ran to an insane price of $1,400, which was insane, right? It was at like a couple $100 prior to that. Imagine Ethereum right back in the day, $150. It goes up to $1,400. That is insane money. Bitcoin, at 14,000, going up to 50,000. And then it crashed, Ethereum crashed, all the way down to $80, less than it even started with. Everyone who believed during that crash, everyone who bought in when people were scared, rode $80 coins all the way up to 4,000. You guys can do the math. That's a 50x return. Imagine 50 times your retirement, your savings, whatever it is, changing your life. because you had the belief and you understood the pattern. That's exactly what we're doing tonight. The same thing happened in 2021. Ethereum hit $4,800, a very key price point for the token. It pulled back and then it surged again. Dogecoin went from fractions of a cent, right? It was the newest meme coin at the time. You had these alternate coins like Shiba Inu, right? Or XRP was kind of in that lawsuit phase, so you couldn't really buy it, but it was still trending on global markets. All of these other Litecoin side investments, not other than the main, beef and potatoes we call Bitcoin and Ethereum. But Dogecoin, right? It went from fractions of a cent to over 70 cents. Imagine buying it for 0.8 of a cent, and then 3 months later, it's 70 cents. That's a almost 100 to 200x return for the people that actually believed. So dips are not death. And I want to make that point very clear, and that's going to be a big trend tonight. Dips are discounts. That's how Warren Buffett became a billionaire, from doing nothing really too much crazier than anybody else, except starting early. Now, Ethereum right now is about $3,800. Yesterday, it was at $4,200, $4,300. That's a massive discount. I want to do the math, right? When Altura launches next week, our whitelist price is going to be 0.06 Ethereum. At the dip you just saw Ethereum have today, that's now about $228. You just got a massive discount on our community access. That's all it costs to secure an Altura NFT, which is this digital ticket that you can buy, later resell for more money, and then access all the benefits on the way through. It's a pass into our syndicate. And again, like Anthony said on Tuesday, we don't use that word lightly. It's access to a community of people that will guarantee that when you have that next big idea, watch that next Instagram reel that drives you into a new business idea. This time, you don't start it for 3 weeks and quit. You have a community to support you, business partners that can help you out, funding that's given to you in your bank account to make it happen. This is the syndicate that will create a new digital Silicon Valley, and you get to have a role in it for a cheaper price now than ever. This is a pass into our funding pool, our global entrepreneur network that I've explained many times over. Watch any of the last episodes for the past month, and you'll be able to see that. Read our white paper. Go to alturasociety.com and read the website. $200 today for what could be worth tens of thousands of dollars down the road. You've seen Bored Apes, you've seen CryptoPunks minting for free or $100 or $200, just like us, now past $100,000 to $200,000 in a market that is not even returned yet. We're still early. That's asymmetric upside. That is getting something basically for pennies on the dollar, and knowing that you get to play a role in making the investment pay off by you being active in the community, you going to our meetups, you following our content, inviting your friends in, and creating the activity inside. This is an investment that you have direct control over, not a sports bet, not an options trade, right? Not something that you're just throwing money into like the newest meme coin, but a direct controlled investment that you get to create. Most NFT projects are just art. And I've seen that, right? A lot of people that are in the community watching this can go and testify that we've joined other projects. You guys have been here for raid nights. A lot of these other communities are selling a JPEG that AI created for them. It's easier than ever nowadays to say, make me a picture of an ape, like Bored Apes, right? A ripoff, and just create 2,000 variants of that. And I'll sell that like it has insane value. The market won't appreciate that, and you won't get the value delivered on the back end. You might have a few hype investors pay you a few bucks, but unless you're delivering value in this season after the cool down, before the next warm up, which we're in, you have to be delivering. And that's why many projects, except for our own, will fail. Altura, though, and why we won't, is because Altura is infrastructure. It's a syndicate for entrepreneurs. We don't sell the art. In fact, the art's not even here. You guys can go on OpenSea and see our collection placeholder. It's now live. Our NFTs are live. And you can see the team's NFTs that have already been minted. It's a placeholder. It's a locked character because the finalized art isn't here yet, because we're not selling art. You guys get to actually create the art. We're still working with the most premium artist on the market to design these. And if you buy into this early stage, you get to be one of the people that signs your name off and says, I got to create that. I got to have a say, a voice in this project. That's different. And you don't see normal monkey JPEG picture communities doing that because their art is bullshit. So let me be clear. I want to be very clear. We're not here to sell you a picture. And if you're here as a hype investor, that's great. You can make asymmetric upside on this, right, just by holding it. But I want you to look deeper. For once, don't just be selling services. Don't just be scamming crypto. Don't just be one of those surface level dwellers, right, that just buys and flips. Look at the value, because it's the only thing that makes the rich people richer. It's what's made Warren Buffett, as I just said, a billionaire, by buying undervalued opportunities in a market that they know is going to appreciate. That's NFTs, and they're coming back this fall. Mark my words. We're here to sell you access, and access is as meaningful as what's inside. And you are contributing to that access. You're contributing to the materials, to the network, to the meetups that we're hosting, to the education that we'll be developing for you, for the network of people to help you with your business, and most importantly, for the $1 million plus community fund that will give to you to run and start your own business. You could pay $200 today, and I'll hand you $5,000 to start your business. That is asymmetric. And that doesn't even include what you could go and resell that token for because of that value. Here's what you get. First, access to a private, vetted community. You don't get it. Nobody's letting you in unless you have a token. Why? Because you wouldn't take it seriously unless you put something on the line. If you don't believe in $200 purchase, which a lot of you spend on Jordans, right? Or you spend, I don't know, on a meme coin or on a sports bet or on a fun weekend out, and you don't put that toward your future, how are you going to start a company with $10,000 of our own money that we can trust you to deliver value on? How can you be in a space where other people are counting on you to add value to their life and not deliver? How can you expect other people to do that for you if they don't vet themselves? If we don't create a process that forces you to put something on the line? Too many people are just looking to be handed value or just to scam. There's so many, again, bottom feeders that are not here to contribute, and therefore we don't want them in. We're going to gate access. And how does that work if you've never been in one of these projects? Well, that's why we're using NFTs. We're not just swiping a credit card, because you have to own the asset. And it limits the amount of people that have these in their wallets. People can't just swipe their card indefinitely. We have to create scarcity, because the amount of members and the privacy of it is what creates value. Otherwise, it's just your everyday e-commerce store. You're getting access in a small group if you get the chance to get one of these tokens. It's tools, digital platforms, subscriptions. It's like having Netflix, Hulu, right, Amazon Prime, all of the normal subscriptions, but related to your business. Maybe a video editing software, Premiere Pro access, Adobe editing software, Opus Clip, anything, right? A library, Envato Elements to create film for your podcast, whatever it's going to be. The opportunity to have discounts on LLC startups, lawyer fees, things that are important to actually getting off the ground, that so many of us have to fight the same battle to go on the internet and try to figure out how all of this works. Anthony, I know you're in my community. You're one of my managers. You're one of my close team buddies here. You've been on the podcast. I remember you talking about trying to figure out and navigate online how to create an LLC and start all that up and trying to ask ChatGPT and hoping you don't screw up the legal process. All of us are on the same journey. I did that too a few years prior, but I still did the same thing. A lot of us go through these same steps. And if you don't have somebody to help you speed run this, you're going to take years to do what somebody that has experience can do in a few weeks. And that's what's holding you back. That's the biggest pain you feel every day. It's not the fact that you haven't made it yet. It's that you feel yourself getting older. You feel people younger than you winning, and you haven't done it yet. And you feel time slipping by, and it's creating this anxiety to do something. What if you had a quick, easy solution because other people have the knowledge you don't, and you can also trust them for once in your life? That's worth thousands of dollars. And I'm giving that to you for pennies. This is access to real startup capital, allocated from $1 million plus community fund. And I'm not even going to tell you guys the benefits that are going to come after. But my team knows, you guys watching this, some of you know that have read the white paper, there's insanely more valuable things coming after the NFT project. And if you're not a holder, you don't get insider access to that stuff before it ever hits the market. Therefore, you don't get other 1000x opportunities. You're out. And if you're out, you haven't proven belief. This is access to a system designed not for weeks of hype, but for decades of growth. Something you can take and hand down to your grandson, your granddaughter, and say, hey, this community, this private syndicate that was started 80 years ago, I was here for day one. And I got access to their meetups. I got access to private insider information. I would have to pay $150,000 for a Harvard Ivy League scholarship to get in. I got for free because I knew the right people. And the right people is how the elites stay at the top and keep you down. For once, you're getting the chance to create that circle for yourself. It's up to you to see that value and to execute on it. CryptoPunks were minted for a few $100. They initially started for free. You had to pay some gas fees, right? But most of them, by the time most people started catching on and NFTs started coming, they were at the right place at the right time. And therefore, value started shooting up. Most people got theirs for a couple $100. Today, they trade for over $200,000. That's a 1,000x return. Tell me where you're going to get that. Sports betting, right? You're either getting all your money or nothing. The best you're going to get is twice a return, right? And that's risky because you could also lose it all. Ethereum, you might make 20% in a year. Bitcoin, you can make 20% in a year. That's still better than the stock market. But to make 200 times or 1,000 times return, that would take a lifetime of investing, and you still might not get there. I'm giving it to you in a few months because you guys can see the value and how underinflated our tokens are. Bored Apes minted for $200, and then celebrities, A-tier celebrities like Bieber, right? Snoop Dogg bought CryptoPunks, and now they sell for $50,000, $100,000, and more. Minimum. That's the minimum price to get in. And those are just JPEGs. Those are just AI pixelated images with the hype, not the community fund, not the entrepreneurial education, not access to private meetups in your hometown, but just a JPEG. And we're in the off season. Now imagine the same scarcity, but backed with real world value. Education, network funding, sovereignty, the ability to 1,000x your money and to have the skills to start your business. That Iman Gadji would cost you $1,000, $1,200 to join his program just for the education. And we're giving you the same thing with the same level of experts included for free once you pay your $200. And you would be paying tens of thousands of dollars for the premium level that we're offering on separate different influencers because those people just care about making their buck. We're here because we see a vision. And I'm willing to take a hit on that if it creates momentum, because momentum is what creates the opportunity for all of us who are members to go back and say, let's launch a cryptocurrency. Let's launch a website. Let's launch an AI tool. Let's give everybody that's inside access, because that's exactly what's going to be happening. And you guys can invest in those projects. You guys can make insane money because you're on the inside. You can invest in each other's companies with pennies on the dollar because you'll be making money inside of our community. That doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen at your college. It doesn't happen at your high school. It doesn't happen at your workplace because everyone's so stressed about getting the next bill paid. I've been there. It's hard. Speaking of hard, I want to get serious for a second. And I know I've been ranting about the same thing, but I want to make that very clear. That again, just hype alone can create $200,000 from 200. And then we stack on all of these benefits. Not yet alone, we're going to create the same opportunities, bring in honestly some of the same celebrities that have been promoting these other projects. So imagine our value in 3 months, 6 months. October 1st is the date I want you to track. That's next Wednesday. We're offering a maximum of 200 NFTs. The collection as a whole has 8,888. A few of those are going to belong to our team. It might be up to 20 to 30, right? Just a small amount. But the other 8,850 or so is going to be on the open market to trade. You guys can buy more than one of these, meaning there at most might be 5,000 people. if you have some huge whales come in. At the most, 5,000 people around the world that get this limited opportunity. In the first phase that we start next week, that gets to have an impact on designing the actual art, getting the lowest price with a guaranteed upsell, because the next phase will be more expensive than this. There's only 200. And again, you could come and buy 20 of them, and then now there's only 180 for everyone else. That's it. If we sell 50, we sell 50. If we sell 200, we sell 200. The rest are getting repurposed at a higher price, and you will pay more money to get it after this. I'm offering this opportunity for the people that believe and are early, because we are. I want you guys to think about what that means. 200 believers is the maximum we're going to offer. If everyone only had one, to ignite the movement. Every movement in history started with a small circle of believers, right? Christianity, 12 disciples. It was 12 people buying the NFTs, right? They didn't purchase something. They just had belief before anybody else. And they're famous in history because of a movement that captured the world. We're going to do the same thing in business. And your name will be remembered as one of the early founders. You'll be in the PayPal mafia, the syndicate that was the OG before anything else of its kind. The American Revolution started with a dozen signers on a declaration, buying the NFTs, contributing something that was backed by nothing but their belief. They didn't pay money to sign a premium declaration, right? They didn't contribute their entire life savings. They just made a small action, in this case, $200. And they put their belief on the line for something. The Silicon Valley had a handful of engineers in garages that teamed up because they realized that they had more power to take down markets if they teamed up as regular people. You only need a small amount of believers to change the world. And the best part is this whitelist, this pre-sale, where we have a maximum of 200 spots, isn't just cheaper. It's absolutely exclusive because we have the bouncer at the door. You don't get access unless you vet your wallet, unless you show that the NFT is in there. As soon as it's sold, you're gone. If somebody else buys it from you for a higher price, which is how it's going to work, they're let in, and you're not. So your belief is, in this case, directly tested. Whitelist holders get votes on finalizing the art. We have our Netflix Illustrator artist that's designing our collection. Way, way better than a pixelated JPEG. You're going to literally decide the design details that will go on the blockchain forever and represent the greatest collection of NFTs to ever exist. Everyone else gets the placeholder. You're going to get ownership of the vision that replaces that placeholder image when all the NFTs are sold and we finally release the final looks. Whitelist holders also get permanent recognition. That whitelist status will stay. And on future projects, on maybe a cryptocurrency release, you guys are going to get the first benefits before anybody else. You're going to get priority access, discounts to meetups, and the guaranteed lowest entry price ever. At 0.06 Ethereum, at $200, you're in for, again, with fees, $228. By the time we hit public mint, entry could be 30 to 40% higher. Meaning, if you buy now and you resold one, let's say you bought 3 of them, you just made 30% on the other ones. That could pay back the initial investment. That's a guaranteed profit margin just by showing belief early. And I did that on purpose, right? Because the disciples, right, got to witness the miracles firsthand. You guys get to witness benefit and the upsell and the margin because you showed that commitment before anybody else. So whether you're an investor, you're a builder, the whitelist is always your best shot. And I understand it's hard, right? $200 could be a lot for some of you. Might not be much at all for the rest of you, which is why I want to make it even. I could charge probably $1,000 for these because of the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of value that will come in the next year or two. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want my community to be made up of rich elites. That's exactly who we're trying to compete against. I want it to be you. The person that's struggling to pay their rent, their bills, has a couple $100 and says, let me take a shot on something that could create the opportunity to set me free from all of this with one conversation, with one education that's done right, with an investment that will pay my rent for 3 years. That's change. I'm going to transition. We're almost done. Don't worry. I know this has been eventful. I want to talk about hype, and I talked about that on a different podcast. Supreme sells bricks, quite literally bricks. The red grain. I don't even know what it's made of. Brick with the holes in it, with their logo on it, engraved into it. They sell a brick that you could take out of a wall or a building. And people line up for hours with tents, camping, in the cold weather. Why? Because scarcity builds culture. And you can sell anything. You can get anybody on board when you create scarcity, because that creates urgency. Black Friday is an insanely great example at that. We're using the same thing, because hype is how we start, but brand is how we finish. And we're not at the brand point yet, so I'm being realistic with you guys. This is how we spark a movement. This is how the revolutionaries kick off the movement. This is my insider secret to you of how we get this off the ground. Bored Ape sold hype and culture. They didn't focus on just the art. They focused on the yacht parties and the real world meetups and the private back-end website with celebrities that you get added into a group chat with Justin Bieber, right? You get access to people. That's insanely important. That scarcity is more rare than just a picture that looks cool on your Instagram. It was tied to a system that actually produces value. In this case, it's startups funded. It's tools unlocked. It's other 1,000x opportunities that you wouldn't get just doing Google searches. It's your insider buddy saying, buy this now, and you will become a millionaire. You will create $100,000 from $500. You don't get that anywhere else, even at the most elite country clubs in the country. Entrepreneurs, meeting entrepreneurs. So when people ask, is Altura a project? My answer for you guys and what I would replicate is no. When you share this link, when you send alturasociety.com tonight, you airdrop it, you send it as a text to your buddies, you tell them no, it's not just an NFT project. Altura is a syndicate. That's different. The NFT is just the access key. It's just the key you put in the door to get in this private secret club with education that the rest of the world won't get to have on how you actually manifest, on how you actually create a movement, on how you actually replicate what we're doing right here and sell with a guarantee to make money. That's unheard of. So this is where I'm going to challenge you guys. If you're listening to this right now, if you have ears, if you're sitting and you're actually functioning and not just you're browsing on your phone, you're typing on a computer, stop that and look at me right now. I want you to ask yourself, do you want to spend the next 10 years gambling online, putting money in options? I know a lot of you that trade options on Robinhood or buy cryptos or go on Dex Screener and just buy the next meme coin, just hoping you'd have a chance to set yourself free, or a parlay, right, on FanDuel. All of these moonshot opportunities that in the back of your mind know are just a coin flip that you're probably most likely going to lose. Or would you rather have 100 times the return on that from one decision to actually trust another human being instead of a FanDuel app or Robinhood or a crypto creator that could rug pull at any time? I'm here looking at you with my face and not an image of a Pepe frog that's telling you you can 1,000x your opportunity. I'm using my real name. I'm using my face. Do you want to gamble? Or do you want to build something that lasts the next 20, 50, 100 years that you pass down to your child or your grandchild that's worth $800,000? And you say, this is my inheritance to you. I bought it for $200. Fuck you, boomers, with your real estate. This is my creation to you. You don't need to buy 20 NFTs. You don't need to go all in on this. $200 shouldn't be your entire investment account, right? Most of you have, $500 in the bank account or something like that. If it is all of your money, this isn't going to set you back forever. That's why I priced it that way. Because we create this times 8,000 and we get all the money we need to help you guys start the movement. One NFT is one seat at the table. One NFT is one pass into the syndicate. For around $228, you can secure your spot among the first 50 to 100 believers that buy the first 200 tokens. And when the world catches up, when Ethereum bounces back, because when the whales that just dumped $1.6 billion of crypto after this massive run, and then other people come back and buy it up, and we see the altcoin market, the crypto market as a whole, and then NFTs return in about November to January, which we're early to. You you guys are extremely early, which is why you're still seeing prices low, and you buy and actually put that money into something now, then the price of our NFT goes up because we're doing that with our phases, and the price of the Ethereum backing that price goes up. So when Ethereum goes from $4,000 to $5,000 and your NFT goes from 0.06 Ethereum to 2 Ethereum, then you just created tens of thousands of dollars for doing nothing. The question is simple. I've just showed you insane value. I've showed you why we're different from everybody else. I can do as much as I can. I've been here every single night doing raids, growing this movement, trying to get you to listen. It drives me crazy that you guys don't see the value. But I'm here every night to show you that I have belief first. Because otherwise, why would you believe in this? And I want to ask, are you going to stand outside and watch? Are you going to look outside the clubhouse and see the disciples in, right? Talking about something that you wish you could hear, have your cup to the window being like, dang, I missed the shot to be a believer, to show my faith in something that humanity created. And I instead isolated myself. I didn't take a risk. And Bitcoin 1000x on me. But in this case, it's Altura. Or are you going to step inside for once into the syndicate? This won't come back. We're not going to do this again. This is the one shot you have. With that said, this is the Ascended Podcast. This is Altura, and I'm Caleb Schulke. We have 5-6 days. The whitelist opens on October 1st. We sell 200, we don't, I don't care. Whoever believes, believes. Because I'm not trying to get a sellout. All of the NFTs are going to get sold at some point anyway. The challenge I have is I only want up to 200 people to show their belief. I don't want a huge circle because I don't want hype to drive this. I want you guys to commit. And maybe that's 5 people. Maybe that's 500 people competing. But it better be serious people. Because before the value's there, before the NFT market comes back, before everyone has excess money from the holiday season to just dump into stuff like this, it has to be hard. You have to prove that it's hard to yourself. You have to do something that you normally wouldn't do. You have to sell your house and invest it in Bitcoin. But in this case, you're just taking your savings and putting it into something that at the worst, maybe it loses 10% of your value. That's the worst case scenario. I will buy it back from you. We'll take your money and we'll just buy it back. Because we're going to keep buying the floor price. We're going to make these higher and higher for people to get in. We're going to buy them back and gift them to the people that actually believe. So if you're willing to sell out for a discount, I will personally use my money, buy your token back, and we'll give it to somebody else that actually gives a shit. That's how serious we are on this. The value is going to go up. If you're not in, you're out. This whitelist opens in 5-6 days on October 1st. There's 200 spots maximum. Join the Discord. Link's going to be attached to this podcast. It's going to be in the description right now. If you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, you can see it down below. If not, go to www.altura, A-L-T-U-R-A, society.com. You click the button to get started, to get your free package and access into our community pre-launch, and you start talking. You start asking people, hey, what are you going to do with $5,000 or $10,000 behind your company? What company would you invest in? And I want you guys to take action step 1. Sit down tonight. Take a piece of paper that's blank, like this. Get out a pen and start writing. Don't think too hard. Just start writing the first thing that comes into your head. What does your dream day look like? Where are you standing? Are you in Dubai? Are you in Miami? Are you in Los Angeles? Maybe you're just in the middle of the woods, away from everything else, with peace and quiet. What kind of car do you have? Do you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever you are? Do you have a mansion? Do you have a Lamborghini, right? Is it a Ford Raptor? What are you getting around in? What kind of food do you eat? What clothing are you wearing? And most importantly, what is paying the bills? Do you own a software business? Do you have coaching clients? Do you have a podcast just like this? Start making that vision real. Figure out how much money you're going to need. Because in a few months, when you buy access, you're going to get the opportunity to come on this podcast with me and talk to thousands of people and say, this is what I believe in, just like I did here to start this movement. This is the money I'm looking for. And the community will decide, yes or no, if that's something they truly believe is going to pay off. And we'll give you the money. Because we believe that you don't have to beg a bank. You don't have to go to American Express and get on your knees and hope they approve you for a business card. you get the money, because that's how it always should be. People helping people get to the next level of growth. I believe in that. I will never stop backing down until I get there. If this costs me my entire life, if this is what I devote myself to inspire 50 people, I will be here day and night to make that happen. I'll be here every single day until we sell out this collection on the live stream, doing nothing else but being here for you guys, to help your vision, to ensure it's real, to create that actual vision from a blank sheet into a reality, and giving you every single opportunity you should have always had access to make it happen. And all you have to do is pay $200 and have a little fucking faith. That's it. We have a deal. Because I do. And I hope you take it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the Discord. The link's below. AlturaSociety.com on your phone, on your computer. Go ahead, click the button and join. Share this with your friends. That's somebody that actually would want to believe and would want to see their money 1000x from this. That actually wants to put the work in and get that funding. Maybe even your boy, right? That said, we should start this podcast. We should start this software company. And actually now you have the opportunity to buy camera equipment, right? To start the YouTube channel, to have access to editing software forever that someone else creates and gives to you. To have a website, to have people that know how to set all of that up so you don't have to use ChatGPT and guess and check. It's for the one person to say, hey, this is the type of business structure I'd use. This is how you write off your expenses. I can help you do that. Other people can help you do that. And you don't have to, for once, pay money and just struggle day by day to make it happen. If you see that, then you're the right person for this movement. And I hope you bring your friends in. I hope you guys participate. And I hope you have a great night. Thank you. And I'll see you on the backside.